You can build a brain that is effectively immune to the symptoms of mental decline. Most people believe that losing your edge is an unavoidable tax of getting older. The data shows that's simply not true. You can actually grow your memory by 2% in a single year, even in your 60s. I'm Patrick, and I look at health through a system lens, and today we're going to engineer your cognitive buffer. We aren't just trying to avoid brain fog, we are building a neurobiological insurance policy that keeps you sharp, decisive, and present for the next 40 years. As an ageless athlete, you have a unique advantage. While others are looking for brain games, you're using the most powerful neurological tool on the planet, high-fidelity movement. My background is engineering, and my current work in the nutrition program at Stanford Medical School has taught me that the brain is not a static organ. It's a dynamic system. We're going to dive into the paradox of the sharp mind, why some people have brains filled with the physical markers of age, but never show a symptom of decline. These individuals built enough redundant mental health span that the system could absorb the damage without failing. As athletes, we have the ultimate tool to build this buffer, the bike. When you push through a tough climb, you aren't just training your legs, you're upgrading the processor. Now, most athletes stop at the heart and lungs. They ride for their cardio and their waistline, and that's great. But if you want the ultra result, if you want to be the person who is as sharp as they are strong, you have to look at the molecular signal your legs are sending to your brain. When you push through a hard interval, your muscles act as an endocrine organ, releasing a specific protein called irisin. This is the messenger that tells your brain it's time to upgrade the hardware. Irisin crosses the blood-brain barrier and flips a switch stimulating production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of BDNF as a fertilizer for your neurons. We've talked about this on this channel before. It prevents cell death, and more importantly, it triggers the birth of brand new neurons in the hippocampus. And I'm curious, how many of you have noticed that your best breakthroughs in business or life happen right after a hard effort? Type signal in the comments if you've experienced this shift, because I'm curious. It happens to me all the time. This irisin cascade is the secret to what we call structural hypertrophy of the mind. I've detailed the exact heart rate zones and the durations required to maximize this signal in our weekly newsletter. It's a free resource designed to move you from watching the video to executing a plan. By signing up, you'll receive our custom cognitive maintenance protocol, which covers everything we discussed today in a single printable page. The beauty of this system is that it's proactive. When you engage in endurance activities like cycling, you are triggering a growth state. That massive increase in blood flow creates physical friction, shear stress against the walls of your blood vessels. Your body responds by pumping out those growth factors at the exact same time you're contracting muscles or stimulating that irisin flow. This isn't just a temporary high, it's a structural investment. You are banking brain volume for later. If denigration eventually does show up, your brain simply routes around it because you've built the redundant neural pathways. Your cycling has created a built-in cure to protect your brain's savings account. We have to stop viewing the body as a machine that wears out and start viewing it as a system that grows specifically when it is stressed. We've seen the molecular side, but what about the physical evidence? Most people assume that after age 50, the brain inevitably shrinks. But Dr. Kirk Erickson's study at the University of Pittsburgh proved that isn't a law, it's a choice. He took sedentary older adults and introduced moderate aerobic movement. In just 1 year, their hippocampus didn't just stop shrinking, it grew by 2%. That is the equivalent of reversing 1 to 2 years of brain aging in 12 months. Imagine being able to tell yourself that every mile you put in is a deposit into your mental health span. This is why master athletes often have the cognitive engine of someone decades younger. It's about engineering the environment to favor growth over decay. This creek behind me is a system constantly flowing and renewing itself. Your brain is the same. It needs that flow to remain vibrant. Years ago, when I was balancing a demanding engineering career with my graduate work for a dual MBA from UC Berkeley Haas and Columbia, I felt that mental fatigue. I was traveling back and forth across the country, trying to stay active while managing the system drag of intense workload. There were days I thought I was too tired to ride, but I forced myself onto the bike, and 30 minutes in, the fog just lifted. That wasn't just runner's high. It was a neurological reset button. By the time I completed that program, I actually competed in my first half Ironman. It proved to me that outdoor training engages bottom-up attention. The terrain, the wind, the movement hold your attention effortlessly. This resets the machine. It lowers the allostatic load, the wear and tear of stress on your system. As ageless athletes, we don't just ride to stay fit, we ride to stay us. We ride to maintain the autonomy and the mental edge that allows us to play a meaningful role in our families and our businesses. But here's the catch. You can do all the work on the bike and still lose the mental game if you ignore one silent system. Training is only half the battle. Your brain consumes 20% of your energy, and that creates a massive amount of biological waste. In your body, you have the lymphatic system, but your brain has a different, more exclusive plumbing system, the glymphatic system. And here's the ultra insight. This system only turns on during deep, slow wave sleep. If you aren't recovering, you're essentially building a high-performance mind, but never clearing the trash. You're letting system drag erode your buffer. Sleep isn't a luxury. It's the waste clearance that protects the reserve. In engineering, we know that a system that can't clear its own waste will eventually fail. Don't let your cognitive buffer fail because you ignored the recovery phase. The ageless athlete doesn't leave their future to chance. We use data, we use movement, and we use recovery to widen the buffer against time. We bank the cognitive volume now so that we can dictate the terms of our later decades. We can't stop the clock, but we can build a system that doesn't care what time it is. In our next video, we're moving to pillar 2, the cardiovascular engine, the pump that makes the entire cognitive system possible. We're going to look at why 3 weeks of sitting can age your heart 40 years. Trust the system, trust your body, engineer your health span. Before you head out, I want to know, which of these 4 pillars, cognitive, cardio, strength, or metabolic, is the one you struggle with the most? Tell me in the comments so I can prioritize that data in our upcoming deep dives. I'm Patrick, and I'll see you out there.